All right, everybody, welcome to the Janitorious Podcast. I hope you listened to the last episode. It was a very interesting one. That fifth doctor is now over here, and the other four doctors are over there locked up. I got Mr. Buttoned Up over here, Jerry.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up? To my left, Joe Bear.
We're back.
This episode is Economic Collapse and How to Survive. So I will let Joe Bear kick it off.
So the reason why we're going to talk about, just get into a little bit of this, is because of some of the things that's happening currently in our society. Inflation, job loss. I mean, you might even hear some of the stuff that we spoke about on some of the prepping episodes as well. But it all is relevant to surviving disastrous times. And some of the things that you could do to prepare for, disastrous times, like I've said before, even on a small scale, is just, putting canned food up. Put canned food up.
Don't forget that water.
Yeah, I was just going to hit on the water filter, because we rely on a lot of old technology, and that stuff can go anytime. I mean, look at Texas. What was it last year? During that freak storm that they had down there. What was it, last year or the year before?
The quarter inch of snow. Nobody knew how to drive in. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I guess. But I did see TikToks where it was like, pipes had burst, and because their structure is different than how on the East Coast and up north, to the Midwest, how we
everything, really.
Everything.
How their houses are built.
Exactly.
The insulation, how the pipes ran.
So some of the things that could have helped some of those people, we're gonna talk about it here today. Putting like I said, putting food up, having maybe a water supply or a way to treat water, or if you're by a water source, have that water filter. Learn how to be able to filter water, and even growing your own food, or having that knowledge to be self-sufficient. I mean, do you guys know, just off the top of the head, anything that's pertinent to survival?
Water. A lot. So we can break this. We need to break it out, because if we want to talk about growing food, saving food, water, how about we just kick it off? Like, how do you think it's going to collapse?
So
give me a scenario, then we can kind of go down that rabbit hole.
So I pretty much, this is a war game. This is us war gaming everybody, because we don't actually know how things will play out. All you can do is prepare. So, for me, societal breakdown, is a supply chain. It's food, water, or even healthcare. I mean, right now we're seeing shortages on prednisone, which is a steroid that is used for when you have like a respiratory infection. I mean, there's medicines that are becoming in short supply, and I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Majority of our pharmaceuticals come from China. So since we've been in the trade war, when it doesn't matter which president, but it was under President Trump when he started putting pressure on China. They call it, the trade war, or whatever the case may be. Already knew then what was going to happen, because it takes years for if we make a decision, or something that we do, it's a ripple effect. We won't feel it that year. So when Trump enacted that, he was going to put sanctions on China, and then it started that whole trade war. We're now feeling the effects of that. And like I said, it doesn't matter left or right. We need to fix the problem in our society, the issue in our society, which, we should be producing our own shit, period. We shouldn't have, the people have, in my opinion, they sold us out. All these jobs have been farmed out to other countries and whatnot, because of the cheap labor and whatnot. But we're gonna suffer because of that, because of the decisions that were made in the what was it, the 80s, or not the 80s, the 90s, when they really started moving manufacturing overseas.
Well, I mean, even before then, I mean, when did Pittsburgh really go out of business?
Like I said, it was
Was that 80s?
it was it was it was it was 90s. It was 90s because I mean you saw GM having issues.
Now I'm talking about like all the steel.
Yeah, I
The
know.
steel
I
manufacturing.
know, but the steel, so Pittsburgh goes hand in hand with Detroit. They go hand in hand. The economy was hand in hand because it was steel, it was General Motors, it was Ford,
Yeah.
whatever was happening in our steel mills was affecting because you need steel to build the cars back then. You needed steel for the components and the parts for the cars. So um they go hand in hand. They were going hand in hand. And I remember, I'm originally from Michigan. Uh Back when those people was getting laid off and they were getting severance packages and stuff like that. Like you seen, you know, older gentlemen, you knew they were retired because they had the newest caddies out. You know what I mean? Like they had the newest caddies. You knew who made it out good.
Yeah.
You knew who made it out with a pension. But a lot of those people, they had to move away. I mean, look at Detroit. It's a bankrupt city. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a ton of bankrupt cities across the U.S. at this point, but bankrupt, and it's had its heyday. It's had its heyday. Detroit and our steel mills, all that shit is moved. It's been gone. It's out of here. I mean, look at our energy now. We're experiencing it now. From when Obama was like he was going to shut down the coal mines out in West Virginia, and that's a lot of those coal mines started getting shut down. Poverty was already high in West Virginia as it is, and that just made it worse.
That was the only job.
That is it. I mean, they do have renewable energy out in West Virginia now, where they have those huge ass wind turbines and
Right.
shit that you see 100 miles out and stuff like that. But how many of those average citizens do you think are actually have those jobs?
Not nearly what the coal mines did.
Right.
And then, like, they also started using, like, you'll go driving around, you'll see a field that's full of solar panels now.
Right.
And that's another way that they're trying to. I don't think they'll ever go away from coal completely, but it's not like what it used to be.
And this shit ties in actually to our next episode, which is funny.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I don't think they're ever going to go away from coal. But I'm just going to play devil's advocate here for a minute.
Uh-huh.
Me and my brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law, used to have a conversation about this. You brought up a good point. They sold us out. Did they sell us out, or did we sell ourselves out? Because hold on. I know you're gonna say hold on. Because here's the deal. He used to ask me. He said, "What would you charge per hour to clean a dirty toilet? Would you do it for $10 an hour?" And I said, "Fuck no. I need $25 an hour." And then you and me kind of the same thing. Where we hang out, I'll be the highest paid snow shoveler there is.
Right.
Or I'll be the highest paid leaf blower there is.
Yep.
So, just devil's advocate a little bit. Like,
I know.
Did they sell us out, or are we just saying no? We're too good for that.
We allowed them.
We want
to make
paid
it short
more for I don't want to say minimum, but like not even easy, like a labor task.
Right. So I think that it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I don't think that it's solely one thing, because the cost of living continues to rise, and in order to survive, you need to have a higher paying job to even be able to make it comfortably.
True.
And those jobs that some people that are coming in, base level, no experience, they can come in and do the job. They're going to do it for less.
Right. If I had nothing, I would do it for this.
Yeah.
But if you're used to this, I want this.
Yep.
Right.
So I think it's a little bit of both. Now, when they were going solely over to majority of it, I mean, everything on this table is probably made in China. So, and that's because of the child labor.
Right.
And they pay them nothing. Now, how I see that one way that we can kind of get that back is right now, from the 80s to now, we have the highest population in the world that's incarcerated. Why don't we give them those jobs of making this stuff? That way they're not just sitting there rotting away doing nothing. Regardless of what crimes they committed, one, that'll make their time go faster. And two, they're also doing something good.
I'm going to stop you. That goes against the World Economic Forum agenda.
Absolutely, but I'm saying that's how we can get it back.
Against it. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Trust me, I am with you. Because we should have been putting out engineers across the board. More technicians, more engineers. That is what we should have been breeding. More farmers. More manufacturing. But we're breeding baristas, sandwich artists, artisans.
Look at the kids that are going to school,
cocktail making,
art degrees and shit.
Come on, we've allowed this to happen to ourselves, and then once we actually make it, like let's just say you create a business and your business is doing great, but you need to outsource because it's it's expensive for to do business in the U.S.
I'm gonna kind of tie back into the last show. You see all this stuff going on, and everybody's like starting to catch on. They're like, "Oh, look over here!"
Right.
So, I don't think it's solely that we allowed it, but I think that we elected the people in there that are doing it.
Right. That's why I said
I think
we
it's
allowed
a little bit of both.
Because if we elected those people to represent us,
yep,
then we allow it. But I can't remember. It might have been one of y'all, or I heard it somewhere else. But the actual definition of government is like control. So, in reality, because I mean, government was made. I want to say it was. I'm going off the dome. Government was made back in the Roman times. That's when we had our official
emperors and all that.
Right,
shit. Yeah.
right. It was all based off control, but they give us this fucking illusion that that we have this choice, these choices and shit. But in reality, it's still one entity in the back. Like, oh, I have two mugs here. Pick one. They're different, but it's made from the same fucking machine, though. It's all an illusion. It's an illusion.
Yeah, I think I brought it up a couple of shows ago. President just means presides over. Yeah, he doesn't actually do anything. He just presides.
He's the one that we're looking at. Yeah. He's the one that everyone is.
Yeah, he's the speaker.
Kind of like what we were talking about the last show. There are some that people get mesmerized by because they speak well, and people hear what they're saying.
Yeah,
and they take it to heart.
So honestly, do you?
Yeah.
Because I know you probably like. Do you believe that? Do you believe that our society? Do you believe that what's going on right now? With the transgender stuff. All these agendas that's right in our face.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it is a controlled demolition of our traditions?
I need to pick what I'm going to say very careful. I think that is one of the ones that are like, look here while I do something else over here.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah, that's how I'm going to, yeah.
Because it's almost like you're killing two birds with one stone. Because you're like, okay, look over here while I'm, money laundering or whatever the fuck I'm doing over here. Yeah. But as you're looking over here, you're actually like falling for the shit. You know what I mean? Like
kind of like a movie that just came out recently. Don't Look Up. You guys see that? I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, it's a funny ass movie, but that's how I kind of feel like we're at. Like,
yep.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing in the sky. Don't look up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I feel like that's
that's how it would pretty much be in real life.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
So now, let's take it a step forward. Let's say that the economy did collapse and money is useless, just like other countries, which I still have some bills from, just in case they decide to bring that currency back. Got that in my back pocket. But people start using it for toilet paper because it's cheaper to get that money than it is to buy a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah.
How do you survive?
Well, do you think money will ever be useless?
So I'm gonna say there's a country.
Ooh.
There's
You
a
know,
country
if-
right
if-
now that
if-
their money is useless, and they were getting it because, like, I can't remember the country now. It had the highest dollar amount bill. Tanzania, I want to say.
It's in Africa. I know what you're talking about.
I have a
know
couple
what
of
you're
the
talking
bills too. Damn it!
because they actually have a bill that's like
$10 billion.
yeah.
I have two of them.
But it's in Africa. It's
Yeah.
a country in Africa.
But it was cheaper to buy a stack of that than one roll of toilet paper. So people were actually wiping their ass with the government's money.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
so the reason why I asked, do you think money will ever be useless? And you brought that up. If I get a great orator to convince everybody else that this dollar bill is worth more than that roll of toilet paper, then, like I said in the last episode, person is smart, people are stupid.
Kind of like what they were doing with Bitcoin.
I
Right?
could convince you
Yep.
that I need that more than you need this, but this is more important than that.
I think it really depends. At a certain point, what we call money, the
Currency or
fiat
whatever.
currency, the dollar bills. At some point, that shit is going to become useless because it's all going to be about food, security, and shelter.
Just like it has been
True,
for
but-
thousands of years.
Right.
What if those 1%ers come out and say, man, if you eat that dollar bill, it's full of nothing but vitamins and nutrition, everything you need.
Then I
Fuck
think
that tomato here. Give me that, and then here's $1. Or,
then I want
here's $1. Or here's 10 cents.
So this
You
is
think some people will be like, oh shit,
yes.
100%
They're gonna
because
fucking eat it.
especially
right.
They're going to eat it.
Right.
I mean, you think about it though. Everybody's been brainwashed to chase this paper money,
Right.
right? Like we're all guilty of it too.
Yeah.
Just like you said, like we don't want to do that job for $10 because I'll do it for this amount.
This month.
I would like to see it go back to how it used to be, where you would trade, because you can do something that I can't, but I can do something that you need and that you can't do. Let's trade.
I hear you, and I know what you're saying, but there's the energy for that. People will be
No
dead.
way.
I mean, there will be a very small fraction. I hear what you're saying. When all shit fails, that is all that's going to be left is bartering. Hey,
Yeah.
look, I got this mug. You can drink out of it. But this guy is like, well, I want water. And it's like, well, shit. Now I got to trade this mug for water to give to him because I need that battery,
Yeah.
Well,
So
like,
it's energy. Like, a lot of people ain't going to be able to fucking do that.
They're not.
exactly.
And there's going to be a lot of people that die.
And so, yeah, exactly. So what you were just bringing up, Jabbar kind of answered a little bit like, that's kind of like, I don't want to say an honor system, but it's like, it's never going to happen. There's too many greedy. There's too many. You're never going to be like, tomato for tomato. It's
Mhm.
always going to be somebody trying to get over on somebody,
It is.
right?
But-
Because
It
we're
is.
too far.
But
Out,
you know
you know?
what's going to fucking correct that? How bad do you want it?
That's
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying.
right, right.
How
That's,
bad do you want it?
so
it
you
goes both
and
ways.
exactly. It's like, let's say like I have a meat supply,
Mhm.
but I need, let's use water for instance, but you have access to water. I'll trade you some meat and you give me some water. Now you'll probably be like, well, you give me X amount of pounds and I'll give you X amount of gallons.
Right.
And everybody's going to try to get one up. But
Yeah.
Right.
when it comes down to it, I can
Handshake.
I can survive longer off of food than I can water. So you're always going to have the upper hand. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. So somebody's always going to be I have what you need.
and I have what you need. But
Right.
so it could be an honor system, but some people are going to try to be greedy and take control. Like, let's say, like if there's one well and everybody else's well runs dry, but I have the well, or I block up some river because it was on my
Right.
part of the land.
Yep.
I hold all the control. There will be some of those people.
It's gonna be that. But
So
you know
that's-
what though? Oh, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. That's kind of my point. Is there's always going to be corruption and somebody trying to get over on another person. Instead of like,
Eventually,
hey man, all right, you killed a couple deer. Here's these cases
So-
of water. We're good. See you in a month.
Yep.
Type of deal.
so
All right,
like,
you got this. See you in a couple. You know what I mean?
yeah. But I believe in that case, like the dude that's upstream and he's fucking blocking, he's gonna get fucked up. He's on a.
He ain't gonna be
his-
around long.
His clock is fucking
Yeah.
ticking. You know,
Guess what?
somebody.
That ain't his land no more.
Fuck no. Somebody is gonna fucking punch his card and fucking hang that bitch up.
He's gonna be floating down the river.
Right.
Oh, I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Sorry, I didn't want to block it. I wish I knew the name. Settlers of Catan. My brother-in-law used to make me play with them. It's all about like, all right, you draw some cards and like, all right, I have wheat and you have water, and the whole game is strategizing on like how to keep going and survive.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and there's like 9 different versions of it, but that's what it reminded me of. That there's no way to advance as greedy. You have to be
Right. You have to work as a team.
partner.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what Joe Bear's doing with with his property is like he's getting a community, and that's to me the ultimate way of actually being able to survive something like this.
Oh, this guy! I can't wait to come up and see it.
Yeah. So, like over at my house, like let's say if everything fails and live solely off the land, like I'm taking the precautions to getting the stuff now. So like I already have like a butcher shop already set up, and I'm I've already talked to these guys about coming and helping me build outdoor smokehouse, so I can actually walk in, hang a whole carcass in it, and I'm taking the precautions now because I don't know what it's going to be like 10 years from now.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, shit. You can, take a whole carcass and start cutting it up into quarters, and you can, barter with that.
Yep.
I mean, that's gold.
I mean,
that's legit gold right there.
I ain't gonna throw anything, but he already knows how to hide and how to hide like hides and
like tan hides
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you see the antlers and stuff. I do my own taxidermy and everything like that. But
That's dope.
it's
and then my man over here sitting at the top of the mountain.
Look, I got some plans. I got some shit that see the way I want to build it out is ultimate survival is we don't have to leave,
Right.
we wouldn't have to leave, but that's also if we're able to get the adjoining adjacent farms that connects to our property. If we can get those, I'm telling you,
We gonna get them.
we would never have to go. If all shit fails, I'm talking about like it's just Mad Max, shit is going bad. We got a place that's just way off the radar. Like if you need somewhere to lay low for a little bit, let it cool off, let me go back and check and make sure shit's all right. I'm telling you, we are going to be able to house over, I'm telling you, a good group of people.
so now listen to this shit though. So like what we are trying or what we want to do with our lives. There's people that are already doing this and have been for hundreds of years. You know where they're at?
Where?
Alaska.
Yep.
Like a couple hundred miles below the Arctic Circle.
Yep. Yeah.
And they've been living this way for hundreds and hundreds of years. They smoke salmon.
Yep.
They make fishing wheels. Instead of like just going out and casting, having a couple lines out, they have a fucking fish wheel during the salmon run.
Yep.
And they just dump hundreds and hundreds of fish. One moose will survive them throughout the entire winter.
The whole winter.
And everything else is just like, oh, I don't have to eat moose again. Let me go out and get a caribou. And, it's day by day.
Did you see? Look, since you said that, Life Below Zero,
100%.
bro,
That is amazing.
bro.
Show.
That show was.
Yeah.
It really opened up my eyes.
Yep.
It really opened up my eyes because it's just like, man, you do not know you do not know how good you have it.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
To turn on a water faucet
and
and
have water.
running water.
Yeah.
Like these people go out in the middle of winter to collect water.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's another thing, man. Like people don't realize how much water they waste. How much water do you think that people use to take a shower?
Right.
Like 10 gallons?
Right.
Something like that?
Way more than that.
So these people are going out and budgeting how much water they use per day, and they try to do a gallon a day because they don't want to have to go back out to the river and carry all the fucking water back.
Oh, right. It's all mathematics. You got the gas in the ATV. You know, you gotta look at the sunlight to see how much time that you can track the fucking animal, whatever animal you're tracking, or to go check the trap. So you are up early and you are out. You're up at like the crack of dawn and you're out. You have to.
I mean, these people that have dog teams.
I know.
Like, that's
I saw
insane.
it. Yeah, that was crazy. That's dope.
But that's how I want to live.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
It was cool. It is definitely cool. I mean, it's a lot of work, but man, like just to have
really
that
work?
fucking freedom.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say, is it really work?
That's freedom. That's freedom.
Like, we do that on our spare time.
Oh, right.
So is that really work at that point? You're doing something that you enjoy. You're surviving,
and you're building yourself up.
Yeah.
You're building.
You're thriving.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yep. That's it.
So what all are you trying to do with your community? Like, where are you at now, and where do you want to be?
Quite honestly, I'm an infant. It's still in infant stages. The people that I am meeting throughout the journey of building this place up, because I mean, in reality, it's a facility. It's going to be a facility. It's not even I'm not saying, oh, I'm building a house.
Compound.
Yeah, I don't even want to say compound. It's a facility. Because I mean,
it's a village.
I want to be able to do, because I mean, I saw the writing. I saw the writing a long time ago. 2016, they were, World Economic Forum was already putting this information out there about Agenda 2030 and the whole list of things that they were trying to, it was just a checklist of everything that they're trying to complete. And food is number one. Food is number one because they want to take control of all water sources, food sources. I mean, look at the fires that's been happening at the chicken plants and all these other poultry plants and the meat plants and stuff like that. Like, I don't think it's a fucking coincidence because I mean, maybe a couple of them a year maybe catch on fire because of human error, doing some stupid shit, but like, they've been happening a little bit more frequently than average.
Well, you want to know what's even crazier is that, like, the meat companies, to me, is a monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's only like 3 or 4 major companies that own all the chickens.
Right.
And, the people that are raising them, they have strict guidelines that they have to do in order to raise their chickens for them. They give them a price. This is how much I'm going to pay you at the end. You have to raise them, and then you have to buy your barns. Oh, yeah, and by the way, every 2 years, you have to upgrade your barn. So these guys never make profit.
Right.
Like, they're breaking even pretty much.
It's all the regulations, and that was tied back into the secret societies. There's a reason why a lot of these people can't get ahead, especially the farmers. Like, if anything, they should be the ones that the nation should be supporting. Like, we should be, number one, the farmers, the veterans, educators, of our society. There's positions of society that are just trivial.
Did you know that they were trying to get all of our chickens shipped over to China to get processed?
To get them processed and then send them back. Ridiculous.
Would anybody want to eat that chicken?
Ridiculous.
I mean, they don't have the same laws that we do. So are they going to be maintained at a certain temperature? Are they going to be, processed within a certain amount of time? How are they going to be processed? All that stuff. Like, we have, inspectors that come into these butcher shops, and they inspect them. And if there's anything out of line, like if you find, like, you're cleaning out your equipment and they find a little piece of meat or something, they make you rewash everything. And that's on a easy level. Like, if they could be dicks and be like, you're fine, we're shutting you down until everything gets cleaned up. It gets pretty crazy. So I wouldn't want to eat chicken that gets shipped out to China and shipped back.
Yeah. I've heard stories about the checklist for like USDA and what their requirements are, it's not that great. It's
I mean,
not
the
good.
inspectors are really cool. I will give them that. Like, that was one of my first jobs. I worked at a packing plant, and the same inspector would hit up all of the butcher shops around
Yeah,
the area.
yeah.
And they were really cool. I was 13 years old cleaning out machines and stuff
Yep.
like that, and industrial size, grinders bigger than this table, and they were really cool. But
So
at the same time, if you got on their bad side, they shut you down in a heartbeat.
so when I was mid 20s, I worked for a huge pork company, one of the hugest pork companies.
Smithfield,
I didn't want to say the fucking name, but
say it.
yeah, it was actually Smithfield in Landover, Maryland. Shout out to my motherfuckers. They actually shut that place down though.
Yep.
It's been shut down, but guess who owns Smithfield though?
Who?
China.
Hmm.
China.
Yep.
They fucking own Smithfield, and they own a good portion of our pork producers here in the U.S. It comes from China.
Who owned the company where you guys worked? That you worked at in Arizona? Was it Smithfield?
No, you're talking about farmland.
Farmland.
Yeah.
Oh, farmland.
Yeah.
Shut down.
What?
And then reopened.
Stop.
Yep.
Wait, was it the same year?
Nah, yeah, it never really shut down.
Yeah.
But then it was just
You know why they do that?
changed.
They so they can get rid of everybody and then hire new people or hire the other people back. Just sidebar shit, but
Yeah, it goes back to what we were talking about. Who will do what for what?
yeah.
What price?
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But I mean,
But then they
every
expanded and opened up a whole new cold facility, and
Yeah.
everybody went there. This place is still there, and it's the kill. This is the cold.
Right.
Kill, cold,
Right.
cold.
Right. Yeah, we did a lot of like when I was working at Smithfield, we I mean sidebar, but these huge ass ovens where because all the ham is pre cooked, it's all they put this it's called a brine. They
Yep.
brine the meat, and then we push all the meat into these huge industrial ovens. Man, if you get caught in there, it is over.
Yep.
It is over. Your skin will literally fall off the bone. Like it's a smokehouse. It's just a huge oven.
So I want to ask you guys this.
I don't know how they waste it, but there is a probably 50-foot tall pipe in the middle of a field that no matter when you drove by, there is fire coming out.
Fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know who owns it, where is it, who does it go, where does it go, anything like that. But it's always burn.
That's probably how they burn like the bones and stuff like that.
Yeah, and depending on which way the wind blows, it smells and
Yeah.
it's either a hog plant or dog food. That's where
So I've been down to not only did I work for Smithfield, but I work for a company, but Smithfield is actually down in Southern Virginia. There's Smithfield, Virginia. That's where the huge ass hog plant is, and the town stinks.
Yeah.
The town stinks because they spray all the feces and shit like into a mist, and the wind like carries it. Dude, it smells horrible. And I mean, there's so many videos of like the residents that are like complaining, but they allowed Smithfield to come in to begin with.
I mean, that's how they all survive.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, they all worked, all the surrounding communities worked at Smithfield, so they were employed. Right. So it was like, y'all voted for that. So, But.
So kind of trying to tie it back in a little bit, the lost art, I would call it.
Yeah.
People don't butcher that often anymore.
No. Nope.
So we lose that. Everybody's going to have to learn all over again. He's got the book.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, it's art, though. I remember the first time I walked into a butcher shop and brought a deer in, and then they had cows in there and everything. Yeah. It was like a scene in Rocky, when he's hitting the fucking... It's all cold in there, and they have the white on them, and blood on them. Like, damn. And then, like, that smell in there, like, oh, this is just raw meat.
Yeah.
So, we do a family butchering every year. And the first time I went to a hog butchering, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But now it's just like everybody's got a job. We
Yep.
go in. This is what you do the entire time, and then when you get done, then we got another job for you. And I go like every year. I want to do a different job, just so I can learn it all.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
man, if you don't learn it now, it's going to be lost forever.
It's gone. Yeah. It's
And
gone.
I'm hoping that this is the year that I get to bring my son.
Oh yeah.
Got to talk it over with the old lady, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking this is going to be the year this is going to be his first time.
That's cool.
So we may wait for the first day, like when we're actually doing all the killing, and then I'll bring him in the second day when we're actually butchering. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, those things you never forget.
Nope. Like I didn't forget, but walking in, it's dark. You can't shoot a deer after dark. You
Yep.
gotta, and then you go to the butcher, and they're all just in there.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
On the rack.
some shout out, but somebody that we know, he called me up and he's like, "Hey, I got a deer. Where a butcher shop that's open?" I'm like, "Yeah, my house. Come on up. Like, I'll teach you how to do it."
Yeah.
And so to that point, a little bit. All right, I'm gonna say something. I'm about to go on a holiday vacation, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm about to drive back to, there is you're gonna know. I mean, you might. I don't know too much about it. It is no stranger to see every single street you drive down deers hanging in the tree, right?
Yep.
Because you got to drain the blood out.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And then take them to the butcher.
Uh-huh.
My wife knows nothing about that. My daughter's not going to know anything about that. But I'm so used to just walking out and everybody, there's a doe or there's a buck hanging in the tree, cutting just blood.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, I shot a deer and I sent you guys the picture that one day that I just get this finger gets itchy and it's got to kill something. Right? Yeah. So I had it all processed within the same day, and I actually did a European mount that same day too. So the deer was cut up, processed in my freezer, and did a European mount all within the same day.
Dang.
Shot, killed in the freezer, trophy already.
But that's field dressing, right?
That's when you take the guts out.
Right. How so for you?
Yep.
I mean, you experienced and you've been doing this. Field dressing, let's just say from shooting it, crossbow, whatever gun, whatever, hunting it, it's dead. From that time to field dressing, how long does it take you?
From field dressing to processing and stuff?
Yeah.
Not counting the drive to take back to my house?
No,
just field dressing itself. I'm done within like less than a minute.
Damn.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm pretty quick to gut.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you do the traditional take a shot of blood of the deer? And then
No. Now what I will do, like tradition wise, like if I have a new pair of boots on, like if I have a kill, I make sure I get blood on my boots.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my tradition.
All right. We yeah. I mean, we should be all right. We should be all right with the time, but I can see something going on over there.
Okay. Okay. I don't see it, but all right.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, so I mean that's part of all the skills. So I've never read the book, but I know you have the book. Is what's that book? The book, you know what I'm talking about.
I can't remember the title. It's like Lost something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have it.
The Lost Ways or something like that.
Yep.
Have you looked through that?
I've read everything. So that's why I want to build that smokehouse. After reading that, and like I'm going to dig a trench, X amount of feet, and then build another little fireplace, and that's how it's going to be like a cold smoke instead of a hot like cooking.
Okay.
But I got it from that book.
That's what you got it from.
I got it from the book. Yep.
I gotta. Yeah.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be offensive. It's not going to be offensive.
I got thick skin, man.
I know you do. Where did you learn your? I don't want to say traditional. The way that you hunt and kill, like you said, I want blood on my boots. I want to go out there. I'm going to use every piece of the animal type of thing.
That's family. I mean, that's passing down.
If you didn't have, if you didn't have your family, do you think you would still be that type of?
No. just like my son, like
It
getting him in young.
taught type
Right.
of
So like before I even took him hunting, like I exposed him to the deer in the tree.
right.
You know what I mean? So like he was really little with that, and then as he got a little bit older, he would come out and help me, like watch me like skin it, and then now it gets to the point where like let me help type deal. So I was the same way. I remember before I even went hunting, my dad shot a doe, and I'll never forget this. Like it was the first time I actually got to go out and help him skin it, and he let me use a butter knife. Like you know what I mean? Like, and I was just like,
Good luck.
yeah, you know,
Struggling.
but I mean, I thought I was doing something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
And he
cool.
was doing all the work, but
Yeah,
in reality, I wasn't doing shit.
yeah, yeah.
But it got me exposed, and it got it engraved in me. Like I'll never need to take this, and if I kill something, I'll never have to take it somewhere to get it processed. I can do it
Yep.
myself.
Yep.
The only reason I asked that is because somebody where we hang out said, "Oh, it's illegal to roll down." I think we were outside, and like roll down your window and shoot from outside of your car and kill a deer. And we're like, "Yeah, that's poaching. You can't
Yeah,
do that." And like, what?
yeah,
No way. And you don't have the tradition and the I don't know what to call it, like the respect,
The
the
nuance.
respect,
Yeah.
The nuance.
for actually hunting and killing.
and taking the life, and you know,
You're
this is
outsmarting the animal,
right. And you know, my style of hunting is different than a lot of people's. I do hunt out of tree stands, but I enjoy hunting on the ground. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's more of a challenge.
That's where I want to be.
You
The
know,
That's where I
first
wanna be.
time I ever went out, I know you guys make fun of me all the time. I'm bougie or whatever. My dad always made me hunt from a ground blind.
Yep.
And I'll be down cold as fucking feet, cold as fucking.
Yeah.
You know, but that's how I had to learn.
uh-huh.
But I never went rifle hunting.
Yeah.
Always with a bow, and he made me read this book. It was the white-tailed deer oak.
I have that book.
thing. It has a it's like a maroon cover. And it's
Yep.
right.
Yeah. I
And
have
he
that
made-
same fucking book.
He made me read it, and he's like, "This is how you catch deer."
Yeah. I like how you said catch.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people say kill, but in reality, you're catching it because, like, they're giving you the nutrients that you need to survive, right? So you're catching it, but their spirit or whatever you want to call it gets to go on, and instead of killing seems permanent,
It stops.
right?
Right.
That makes sense.
So
That's a good way to put it. I like
Yeah.
that.
That was some Socrates
I like that.
shit
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
And he always used to tell me the way he said, "I never use a gun. I like to use a bow because a 10-yard bow shot is like a 1,000-yard gunshot."
ooh,
In
I
the
don't know.
come
I
on,
don't
there's
know.
a lot of ways you gotta clear out, like shooting.
Yes, like
things
shooting lanes and
and-
stuff like that. It's definitely more challenging.
Yes.
The other buck that I got this year was shot with a traditional bow,
And he used
and a lot of people don't use traditional anymore. They use all the
Right.
compound.
Yeah.
And I'm
cross.
you know I'm coming back. I really wish that Maryland would pass a law where we can use our spears.
He used to test me.
Yes,
He used to make me hold the bow with no arrow and just hold it.
Yeah.
He's hold it for 15 minutes. He said, because in the woods you're gonna have to hold.
Yep.
And wait for that deer to poke its head around the tree, and go. He's like, hold.
Yep.
And don't move.
And you know what's crazy is
That's
there's
crazy.
been so many times where I've had that happen,
That's
like
right.
where they stop and they stop right behind like a tree, and you're at full draw,
Yeah.
and you're like you start shaking,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Hold.
Yeah.
Hold.
now,
Made me carry my own tree stand up the goddamn.
Oh.
I used to have to screw it in like this.
uh-huh.
With the
Yep.
sticks. You know what I'm
Yep.
talking about. Into the fucking tree. I hated fucking he used to call it Scout Day. We're gonna go put our tree stand up and then walk. We're just gonna walk for miles.
Shit, see, I was the other way around. I walked and found sign, and then that's when I
Yeah.
was at my tree stand.
Setting it up. Okay.
So, like, kind of like what Joe Bear showed me his property, and I'm like, show me a map, and I can show
Yeah.
you like where the benches are, and I'll show
Yeah.
you like the transition zones, and I can tell you where the deer are going to be.
And I checked, and it
Yeah.
was accurate.
Do you
Exactly.
think there's a difference? I think this is gonna be the big difference. We were always at a state park, never private property.
It's harder,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I've killed in both. So where I grew up, it was on a mountain, and the deer don't get big; they get smart,
Yeah.
and you got to go way up.
Yeah.
And in my town, you drive down the road and you look up in the mountain, and it looks like a pumpkin patch during rifle season. You can hear the deer running because you hear the gunshots. Boom, 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 boom. And then they go down a level. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm sitting on private property. I'm like, cross that highway.
Yeah.
By the time they get to me, their tongues are out and everything else, and I'm just like, easy picking.
We used to have like
Damn.
fall time trails and springtime trails.
That's cool. That's cool.
They're kind of different.
Bucks are, though.
One of the funnest things I ever had in my entire life. My dad told me, he said, sit right here. He's like, don't move. Just sit right here. Okay. He's like, I'm going to be 30 yards down there. Don't move. He said, I guarantee when we walk out, there will be a huge buck 200 yards down there. He said, but the reason why I'm telling you not to move is because somebody's going to walk by. I said, okay, Dad. Just sat there. Dude walked by, did not see me. I'm sitting from me to that wall, so 5 feet away from a sand trail where a lot of horses go, you know? I don't know if it was a conservation officer or a dude just walked by and didn't. I froze. I was like, Dad said don't move. Didn't.
I can tell you so many stories, man.
Got up, got on that trail, sun's going down. We took 10 steps. Big ass buck. We were tracking them the whole fucking season. An apple hole.
Yep.
I'm talking about miles and miles and miles. We tracked this motherfucker. I'm not gonna lie. My dad was like, you know, threw one up there, you know. Didn't get him, but that's one of the funnest moments when he was like, don't move, a guy's gonna walk by, I guarantee it. And then motherfucker did walk by us.
Yeah.
Listen, before we wrap up, I just want to tell you one thing because it's something very similar. I was hunting on public property, and I was up in the mountain. Got in there like 2 hours before daylight because I wanted to get far up in the mountain. Got up in my tree stand, climbed up, and it's starting to break daylight. I hear leaves rustling, so I'm getting my bow ready. I see this hunter coming up. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Then he's like, gets up. I'm not even moving, and he climbs up. I ain't shitting you. I'm like, not the next tree beside me, the tree beside that. And I waited till he climbed all the way up. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, I didn't even see you. I'm like, thanks for ruining my spot, buddy.
The only reason I brought that up because I remember the first time I met you, it only took like a couple of weeks. You were asking me, did you used to hunt? And I was older. I used to hunt when I was younger. And I wanted your opinion on like state parks versus private and versus.
It's hard, man. Yeah. It is hard. Now, like some of these parks that are opening up in like different counties in Maryland that are, suburbs and stuff like that, and they have like these little patches of woods. I mean, this buck here is like a scrub buck that's compared down there. I mean, they're pulling out deer that have like mass as big as this coffee cup.
What?
Because nobody hunts them. Nobody could hunt them. So they got to be full mature, and then so those parks the first couple of years was amazing.
So do you bring those? Do you try to mimic bucks fighting?
Yes, I just didn't like the tone of these, so that's why they're not my route one. I do like the real ones. Mm-hmm.
Do you keep your clothes in like a separate no scent thing? Because there's
my scent control, since I hunt on the ground, has to be on point. Okay. So I've done a lot of research, and a lot of people that have killed multiple 200 inchers, they don't use scent like a spray scent control.
Yeah.
So what I started doing, and it's been working, is I put my clothes over top of my clothesline, and I have a little fire pit underneath. I put wet leaves and wet sticks in there to get that real heavy smoke. And I use smoke as my scent control.
Nice. Yeah. I never thought about that. So we used to have just a bag, and then we would throw dirt and leaves in there and just seal it up to make it smell like pine and make it smell like the woods. And we wouldn't take it out until we got there, and then we changed into it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my scent control. But yeah, I do have like I don't have a bag, but I have a tub.
Yeah, it was like a big ass zip.
Yeah. So to wrap this up, so we need.
I want to go hunting with you.
I know. Like this
going
is
up?
Yeah.
Going up.
Like I spoke with
I got a deer named George that needs to be killed.
Like right now, I can smell cigarettes on my hand.
Yeah.
We would never. We just even if you take a shower, no scent, just water, and then
Yep.
throw dirt on you and get all. Smell
So
like
I do
Yeah.
use like I don't buy like the scent
The scent sprays.
scent spray, and I
yeah.
don't buy like the scent eliminator or whatever deodorant, but I
Yep.
do buy Arm & Hammer unscented deodorant.
Do you use the female pee?
The
The
Dear
dough?
Lord.
Yeah.
The dough, yeah. So, but here's another thing. I'm a cheap ass. I hate buying it. So whenever I shoot a doe like this during rut time, when I gut them,
Yeah.
I cut the pee sac out and
Yeah.
I collect the pee.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is true or not, and everybody's gonna say I'm stupid, but I swear to God this happened. So one of my friends, when I was growing up, his dad lived out in the country and had a lot of acres. The deer love to eat watermelon. We would throw watermelon out, and I swear to God, they would come up and eat it.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past. I mean, they eat
Normally,
apples, pears, all
apples,
that stuff.
pears.
Yeah.
Right.
Every single time we threw it was like from here to me to you.
Pumpkins too.
Oh, pumpkins.
So I think it's
Dude, they
just the
destroyed
fruit.
my pumpkin
Yeah.
patch last year.
Yeah.
I didn't even put one in this year.
That's
We
good
used
to
to
know.
shoot them with
Yeah.
BB guns. We were like 12. Poof. It was like 10 yards.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. I was like, the fucking watermelon. Like,
Yeah.
because I always knew apples and
Yep.
everything like that. But
We're gonna have to have an episode just for hunting.
I
'Cause
know.
I got
I
a
know.
shitload of stories, like
We-
crazy shit people don't believe. My wife wouldn't even believe. I got time. We got time for one more story.
All right.
Are
All
we
right.
past?
All right.
We'll wrap
Yeah. I
this
mean,
up.
we are past.
We are past.
We are past. Like
All right,
15
this is the last. This is the last story. I was telling my wife all these stories that I would do with deer and stuff that how close they would get to me.
Yeah.
And she would call bullshit. She's like, "There's no fucking way." I'm like, "Okay." So we're going over to help another farmer because like they're brand new to sheep and they needed help docking tails.
Mhm.
So it was a bad winter storm and it was like the year we got a lot of ice.
Mhm.
We're driving down this dirt road and an embankment was full of ice.
Mhm.
So I see all these deer come in. And there's probably like 10 of them.
Mhm.
And there was a younger one that couldn't get up. She would like jump up and then she'd slide back down. So I pull up the truck. I'm like, watch this. And like she's standing right there. I smack it on the ass. I'm like, get up there. And it like jumped up and took off. And I looked at her. I was like, now you believe me? And she's like, if you told me that story and I wasn't here, I would not believe you. She's like, but I can't because I seen it.
Yeah.
You fucking smacked the deer on his ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the
yeah.
craziest thing.
Yeah.
Dude. In that same story, the dude, it was like 6 foot tall grass. There were like raptors going through that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. It just blew my mind. I was
All right, we're gonna have to have an episode just hunting,
Yeah.
and I think we can pull a couple people.
So we need skills.
Yeah.
We need it. We to wrap it up.
Yeah.
economic class, kill deer.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Bring it to my house. I'll teach you how to
I mean, these are
process them.
just like the book. You know, these are lost ways.
Yep.
You know.
Shit, we didn't even get into like seeds and everything else. But
Yeah, we didn't even really.
No.
We would just
We
scrape the surface just a little bit,
barely.
right? Because we got into hunting,
Yeah.
tracking, and a little bit of bartering.
Yeah.
You know, but you need skills. You need a community.
The
And-
needs are always going to be the same:
Right.
water, food, shelter.
Right. Security.
Without that,
Right.
you don't survive.
That's it. Somebody come take your shit, or you need to learn how to grow your shit.
Yep.
And you need how to learn how to trade your shit. So
We'll
know,
touch more on it in a different episode.
We get in there. We can get in there.
Can't
think-
wait till next episode. We're multiversal. We're gonna talk about some other crazy shit.
Oh, I know. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. I mean, slowly, but we getting there. We getting there. We getting
But everybody listen, we're gonna trade that 1 pound of deer for a lot more than you think.
there.
Peace.
Later.